Hey everyone, this is Angie Norris and welcome to my YouTube channel, 60 and a Senior. And on my YouTube channel, my videos are primarily bookish related. Every once in a while, I'll throw a cooking video in there, but I normally talk about bookish things. I do videos, book review videos. I do videos about my most anticipated upcoming book releases. And tonight I'm going to be doing a TBR list video for November. We're going to choose the books that I'm going to read in November. And we're going to let this deck of cards entitled Reader Roulette choose the books that I'm going to read. So on these cards, there are prompts similar to the jar prompt videos that you've seen me do in the past, and you've probably seen other booktubers do as well. But they have prompts on the cards. So we're going to shuffle the cards and we're going to choose a card and then follow the prompt to choose a book off of my unread TBR list. So for the month of October, I chose 8 books for my TBR list. Today's Thursday, October 30th. So far, I've read 5 of those 8. I'm reading the 6th one right now. And I hope to have it finished by tomorrow night at midnight. The 2 that I did not get to were The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman and The Reformatory. So they are actually going to go back on the shelf and could be chosen in the mix for November. I do have 2 books that I have to read in the month of November for 2 book clubs that I belong to, and that is The Hissy Fit by Mary Kay Andrews and One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I belong to 2 different annotated book clubs. So these have to be read before the 15th of November. So I will be reading these the first part of the month. But I am going to choose 5 more books. So stay tuned and we're going to get started. Okay, as I said, these cards are called Reader Roulette. They are a little thicker than regular deck of cards, you know, like playing cards. So they're a little bit more difficult to shuffle. So bear with me. I'm going to give them a couple of shuffles and then we'll choose a card. Oh, they're really thick. And when you bend them, they bend one way. And I burnt my hand last night getting some bread out of the oven. So I have 3 fingers that are burnt. Okay, I've shuffled them twice. I'm going to cut the deck and then I'm going to choose the top card, and that's going to be our prompt. Choose a book by an indie author. Okay, right off the bat, I knew which one I was going to choose. I actually bought this book last December. This is entitled The Roots Beneath Us by Joey Jones. Joey Jones is a North Carolina author. I live in North Carolina. This book is actually set in North Carolina, and he is an indie author, and this book is actually autographed. I bought it at Mike's Farm in North Carolina. We were there for a Christmas show last year, and they sold them in the gift shop. And so I'm really excited about reading this one. It's been on my shelf for almost a year now. And let me just tell you a little bit about what it says. The roots beneath us. Fate brought them together. Their past tried to tear them apart, leaving behind a career filled with danger and secrets. Piper Luck arrives in Duck, North Carolina on her 40th birthday, determined to build a new life. Starting with The Roots Beneath Us, a local course her friend and father figure swore would transform her, she embarks on a new journey. Like Piper, Boone Winters just moved to the Outer Banks at the suggestion of his now deceased mentor and boss, who promised Boone a job when he arrived if he worked up the courage to leave an abusive relationship. The job, build a luxurious oceanfront home. However, there are contingencies. When Piper and Boone become accountability partners, they work through the course together by facing their fears, setting goals, overcoming obstacles, and forging an unlikely friendship that evolves into something deeper. Nonetheless, when their previous lives resurface and threaten the tentative roots they've planted, they must each courageously confront their past demons once and for all in order to claim their future. It's a little romance in this one, I believe. So I'm really excited. That's going to be number 1. So stay tuned. We're going to draw number 2. Okay, I'm going to shuffle them again. I'm just going to shuffle them once. Then I'm going to cut the deck, and we're going to choose the top card. Choose a book with a 5-star prediction. Okay, this may take a minute because I'm going to have to get out my phone. Okay, I am not sure if the card means for me to choose a book that, like, the BookTube world predicted was a 5-star, or one that I'm going to predict is a 5-star. So I'm choosing the latter. It's one I'm going to predict is going to be a 5-star read for me. And that is one that was on my list for October, and I didn't get to it. So I'm kind of glad, I'm not mad about this, that I'm going to put it back on for November. And that is Richard Osman's newest release, The Impossible Fortune. This is the 5th book in the Thursday Murder Club series. And every other book in the Murder Club series, I gave a 5-star. So for me, this is a 5-star prediction read. So that's how I'm interpreting this prompt. So that is book number 2 going on the TBR list. Stay tuned for draw number 3. Okay, we're gonna shuffle again. I'm gonna shuffle just once. Okay, these cards bend. I'm gonna cut the deck, take the top card, and what does it say? Can't read backwards. Oh, and it was upside down. Read a book based in your favorite city. Oh, wow. Let me look. Okay, I'm back. So I've got several choices, and I'm just going to share with you anything written by Heather Weber. And I currently have 3 on my TBR list. Heather Weber writes about fictional towns in Alabama, and all of her books have a little bit of a mystical, magical element to them. I love her books. I'm from the South. I love books written about towns in the South, but these are all fictional towns, and they're usually different names of places in Alabama, but I could have chosen any of her books because I love all of her books. I'm trying to read her to 0, but I'm gonna shorten it down to these 2. Once again, another author who writes, well, actually Fannie Flagg is from Alabama, and a lot of her books are set in Alabama, but this series was set in Elmwood Springs, Missouri, and I forget which book this is in the series, but it's called The Whole Town's Talking. So that is a contender because I love the characters in that little small town. I just love all the characters in her books. But this is a new release that came out, I want to say this summer, sometime in July or August, by Karen White. It's called That Last Carolina Summer, and it is set in Charleston, South Carolina. And I absolutely love Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know that it's my favorite city, but it's one of my favorites. And so this is what I'm going to choose. That Last Carolina Summer by Karen White. Okay, we've picked 3. I have 2 more. Oh, you know, I didn't even tell you what The Last Carolina Summer was about. Sorry. Let me read that real quick. As a child, Phoebe Manigault developed the gift of premonition after she was struck by lightning in the creek near her Charleston home. Plagued throughout her life by mysterious dreams and always living in the shadow of her beautiful sister, Addie, Phoebe eventually moves to the West Coast as far from her family as possible. Now, years later, she is summoned back to South Carolina to help Addie care for their ailing mother. As Phoebe's return lures her back into deep-rooted tensions and conflicts, she is drawn to Celeste, whose granddaughter went missing years ago. Their connection brings comfort to Phoebe, while Celeste's adult grandson, Liam, resurrects complicated emotions tied to Phoebe's past. But the longer Phoebe spends in her childhood home, the more her recurring nightmares intensify, bringing her closer to the shocking truth that will irrevocably change everything. Unfolding against the lush backdrop of the South Carolina Lowcountry, That Last Carolina Summer is an unforgettable story about the unbreakable bonds of family and the gift of second chances. So that's what that's about. All right, let's choose book number 4. I'm going to shuffle them once. Oh, these cards get bent. I'm going to cut the deck and we're going to pick the top card. And it says, choose a fantasy book to read. I hate this. I hate this card. I'm going to tell you right now, I may choose another one. Because A, I'm not sure if I have any fantasy books on my shelf. And B, fantasy is not my favorite genre. But let me see what I have. Be right back. Okay, we're going to choose another card because I really don't have any fantasy on my shelf because I don't really buy fantasy books. Fourth Wing, I have read that series. That's about as close to fantasy as I get. I do have a couple of Harry Potter books. I'm in the middle of reading that series. I'm on book number 4, but I don't feel like reading a Harry Potter book right now. So we're going to choose a different card. So I'm going to put that card to the side and I'm going to choose the next card that would have been drawn. Pick your most recent purchase to read. Okay, my most recent purchase was Richard Osman, The Impossible Fortune. So that book is already on my list. Literally, I just bought that book. Like in the past couple of weeks. So there is not another one that I have purchased recently. So once again, I'm going to pick another card. Stay tuned. I'm going right back to the deck and pick the next card. Read a book set in a small town. Okay, we just went through some of the choices that I have that I love. Fannie Flagg, I love Heather Weber, so I'm probably going to choose one of those, so stay tuned. Okay, I am going to pick one of Heather Weber's, and I'm trying to read them in order. You do not have to. I'm just trying to backlist her in order that she wrote them. So the next one would be The Lights of Sugarberry Cove. And let me just read you a little bit about that. It says, Sadie Way Scott has been avoiding her family and hometown of Sugarberry Cove, Alabama, since she nearly drowned in the lake just outside her mother's bed and breakfast. 8 years later, Sadie is the host of a much-loved show about Southern cooking and family. Love that. But despite her success, she wonders why she was saved. What is she supposed to do? Sadie's sister, Leola Claire, is still haunted by the guilt she feels over the night her sister almost died. Now at a crossroads in her marriage, Leola has everything she thought she wanted, so why is she unhappy? When their mother suffers a minor heart attack just before Sugarberry Cove's famous Water Lantern Festival, the two sisters come home to run the inn while she recovers. It's the last place either of them wants to be. With a little help from the inn's quirky guest, can the sisters come to terms with their strained relationships, accept the past, and rediscover a little lake magic? It sounds wonderful. All right, be right back. Oh, this game has been hard because of the cards I've drawn. All right, we're going to shuffle them again. Last pick. We're going to cut the deck, pick the top card. Oh, continue a series you have already started. Well, that would be The Impossible Fortune. That is the only series other than Harry Potter that I'm in the middle of. So I'm going to pick another card because I've already chosen that book. Choose a book with an animal on the cover. Okay, I literally have gone through every book on this bookshelf. This bookshelf, for the most part, is my unread TBR. I do have another bookshelf. Most of it is read, but there are a few over there. But these are my options. Some of them are not good options. So I have a bird on this cover. Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name. Another Fannie Flagg book, Something to Look Forward to. This is her most newest release. There was a bird on this one. I believe this one is short stories. Fly Away by Kristen Hanna, another bird. This is the sequel to Firefly Lane, and I absolutely loved Firefly Lane. But it's a little bit chunky. Then I have the classic East of Eden by John Steinbeck. There was a horse right there on the cover. It's a chunky one too. It is 591 pages. And then White Fang by Jack London, which is also a classic. It's a short book. So yeah, I'm kind of sort of leaning toward this one. It's a toss-up between that and the Fannie Flagg book. I think I'm going to go with Fannie Flagg. This is a new release. I think it came out in August. So I love, love, love Fannie Flagg. So I think I'm going to choose this one. All right, I'll be right back and do the wrap up. Okay, going in reverse order, here were my 5. Choose a book with an animal on the cover. That was Fannie Flagg, Something to Look Forward to. There was a bird on the cover. So was 1. Number 2, the prompt was read a book set in a small town. The Lights of Sugarberry Cove by Heather Weber. It's set in a fictional town in Alabama. This prompt was read a book based in your favorite city. And that is That Last Carolina Summer. That's set in Charleston, South Carolina. That's book number 3. Book number 4 was choose a book with a 5-star prediction. My 5-star prediction is The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman. If you have not read the Thursday Murder Club series, y'all, it is a fabulous series. It is about a group of 4 friends who are in their 70s and 80s. It's set in England. They live in a retirement village. And one of them used to be an ex-MI5 operative. One was a psychiatrist. One was a nurse. And they use their skills that they have to solve murders. And it is such a great series if you have not read it. And this one just came out like 2 weeks ago. This is book number 5 in the series. And then the 5th book on my TBR list for the month of November is Choose a Book by an Indie Author. And that was The Roots Beneath Us by Joey Jones, who is a North Carolina author. If you've read any of these books, please drop me a comment below and let me know what your rating was and how you enjoyed it. The other 2 that are on my list for November is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune that I have to read for a book club, and Mary Kay Andrews' Hissy Fit for another book club. So I've got 7 on my TBR list for November that might be kind of ambitious, especially with Thanksgiving being this month. But anyway, tell me what you're planning to read in the month of November. And if you're not subscribing to my YouTube channel, I really would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. As always, thanks for watching, and y'all have a great night.